You're right. This guy's full of shit. Yep.
5 YouTube shorts that gained me 100 million views. There was some controversy in those videos, so we're gonna talk about that. I'll give you the backstory. My name's Jamie, you're watching Jamie's Garage. Let's get into the first video where I drilled a hole into the trunk of a Mercedes to gain access.
Oh, yeah. Yup, there it is.
Yes. As I'm sure you could imagine, the comment section was on fire with armchair mechanics telling me how I did it wrong, how much of a hack I am. We're gonna address all that, okay? Let's read the first comment. The first one is from Alan Watts, who says, "This video makes no sense. Why not go inside the car, remove the seats, open the trunk from the inside without destroying anything? Why not call a locksmith? How do people like this even get clients? This guy is as qualified to work on cars as my dog is at driving." All right, Alan, I'm gonna answer your question, but first let's talk about the car itself. So it has a locking system, right? Door locks, trunk opening. It's all controlled through a PSC module, which is located in the trunk. That module receives a signal, has a pneumatic pump, which applies pressure or vacuum, whatever's needed, to open that trunk latch. That pump was bad. No big deal, right? So Mercedes thought of this and they have a key, and inside of their key fob is a mechanical key. That mechanical key gets put into the trunk latch tumbler. You can then open the trunk, gain access, everybody wins. However, that latch was also bad. This was a very big problem for us. So we had the latch that was bad and that control unit that was bad. Between the two of those, it caused a huge issue trying to access the trunk. So he says, why not just remove the seats? That would have been awesome. I would have much rather done that. However, even if I remove the seats, it has a solid back. So now we're having to drill a much larger hole that I'm gonna have to crawl through to get into the trunk. That doesn't seem to make much sense. Why not call a locksmith? Excellent question. I have a friend of mine that's a locksmith. I gave him a call, talked to him about it before we did anything with this car. Problem that we ran into is even if we drilled that lock out, we still have to access the locking rod, the actuator that's next to the latch. So you'd have to somehow get through the hole, up and over around the actuator or around the latch assembly, grab a hold of that rod and pull up on it. It just wasn't gonna work. The last resort was to drill the hole to access the rod so we can pop it open. Now, trust me, we had a very long conversation with the customer before we did anything. We got his approval. He was totally cool with it. Every car for over 20 years hasn't accessed through the back seat so children don't get stuck in the trunk. You're not too bright. Well, we didn't have any children stuck in the trunk, so they couldn't help us out there. The groaning in the video was an afterthought. I actually added that after I shot the video. I like to put these little Easter eggs in the video just to keep it more interesting for you guys. A lot of people were asking me where I got those pliers. These are double hinged, just like the people in the comments. Needle nose pliers that really are designed to get into deep holes. It helps you get the job done. A lot of people are telling me how I should apply power to the car so I can get the trunk open. The issue is the battery wasn't an issue. The battery was fine. That wasn't the problem. This next video gained 25 million views, and the funny thing is, I didn't even realize there was an issue with it until after I posted it. So as you guys saw in the video, you had something pop off, and there was a lot of discussion as to what that was that actually popped off. But before we get into that, I do this strategy. I have this, anytime I shoot a short video, I post it to TikTok first, and I use that as kind of a gauge. We'll see how well it does. If it does great, then I'll post it to my YouTube Shorts. If it flops, then I just don't do anything else with it and it goes away. This video was actually B-roll footage of a 7 Series that I was restoring. I just needed the B-roll footage, that's all it was. And I took a 15-second clip of that 4-minute video, and I posted it to TikTok, and the comments started rolling in because they noticed that little rod had popped off. Once I realized that, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna capitalize on this, so let's go ahead and spice up the video a little bit and post it to YouTube Shorts, and you guys didn't disappoint. A lot of people are saying stabilizer end link, sway bar end link. It was not the end link. And actually somebody, FabDap, said, the amount of people in here thinking that's the sway bar end link has me worried. Well, not everybody's a mechanic, so I get it, and it does kind of look like a sway bar end link. Really, it's just the linkage for a headlight leveling sensor. really no issue at all. It ended up getting fixed in the long run. This next video gained 24 million views, and it got the attention of McLaren. Like, McLaren contacted me. They wanted to know more. Let's watch it.
Everybody knows that Tesla has bad build quality, right? But have you ever checked out the build quality of a McLaren? Check this out. This is a 2022 McLaren 720S with only 43 miles. And I pulled the engine cover off, and look at this. This bolt was just sitting here. So I'm gonna put that little guy back in and check the other side. Oh, look at that, it's loose. I know what you're thinking, a couple loose bolts, no big deal, right? Well, let's check over the rest of the car. The washers under these bolts are rusted. Like, literally, the car got PDI'd at the dealership on a transporter truck and brought right over here. Only has 43 miles. We got a little bit of panel gap here. Yeah, no big deal, but this is the worst part. Check this out. When the door is opened, only on the passenger side, it is literally touching the body, guys. Check this out. It is touching the body. The other side has got like a 1-inch gap or something like that, but the passenger side, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Now, the driver's side door doesn't have that gap, but when you close the door, watch this. It grabs the seal, it like pulls it back. Do you see that? It pulls that seal back.
I'm gonna read you the email that McLaren sent me. Dear Sir, I'd like to introduce myself. I am responsible for the quality of McLaren cars out of our facility here in Woking, UK. I've been forwarded the YouTube piece that you have posted on the McLaren 720, which details some quality concerns. I am keen to follow up on the issues you have described and understand in more detail so that we can implement the appropriate response in our facility here and prevent further occurrence. Could I ask you if it's possible for you to share the VIN number which will let me see the vehicle history and routing? We do recognize any opportunity to improve our cars, and some of the issues you have shown are not yet known to us. Interesting, because I'm hearing otherwise. Thank you in advance and kind regards. I'm not going to give you his name, but his position is the Executive Director of Quality McLaren. Oh man. If you're the guy that sent me the email, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to divulge my customers' information. Make better cars. This next video got 18 million views where I had to fix someone else's mistake.
This Audi Q7 came into the shop because of a light malfunction in the instrument cluster. I didn't have any tail lights. I opened the hatch and I noticed a noise. Listen to this. Of course, I do some investigating. I find some broken clips, things misplaced. The rear window defrost wasn't even attached to the glass anymore. So I pulled out this rubber grommet to see what this rattling noise was, and just as I thought it might be. From the words of Grandmaster Flash, broken glass everywhere. The reason the brake lights aren't working is because this latch is supposed to fit into this receiver and click a switch. But you see all that broken glass? It's getting in the way of the switch. So a quick vacuum, get all the glass out. I operate the hatch, let it close, and bam, that's the way it's supposed to work. But we still have a problem. There's glass all inside of the rear hatch, and these somewhat repair, somewhat replace people told my customer that there's no way they could get all the glass out. He just has to deal with it. Well, that's not acceptable, so I've got this rubber hose. I've got it attached to my vacuum. I'm gonna stick it in the hole and suck out all of the broken glass. Just like that, all fixed.
This video went viral for another reason, not for what people thought I did wrong, but instead for what I did right. Of course, I had some Easter eggs in there too. I had to do that, had to make it fun and entertaining for you guys. So here's the story. Customer came in, had a rattling sound like we talked about in the video. What I ended up finding out later is the glass was broken, I think 2 weeks prior. He said he was at a golf course and someone's golf ball, he thinks, smashed the back window because when he returned to the car, glass was everywhere. And he had a glass company fix it and then brought it to me because of the issue of the taillights. Let's read a couple comments. Stick it in the hole and suck it all out. Sir, are you sure you're talking about the car? Take pride in your work, people. It's not hard to do. That was a lot of the comments. That made me feel good. Lube me up too. My most popular video gained 27 million views. If every single person watching it subscribed, I have like 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. This last video got 15 million views, and everyone loves to see haters get put in their place. Let's watch the video.
Wrong method. Do it from underneath. You'll get more oil from out of the car, including sediment.
You're right. This guy's full of shit. Yep, this is why I'll never own a Mercedes.
How do you clear the sludge?
We'll keep like 1 kilogram or more in the engine.
What about the trash in the pan? What about the metal shavings in the oil pan?
Yeah, your claim is vastly inaccurate.
That doesn't get the oil that's on the bottom of the pan.
I don't believe you could suck all the old oil out.
That will damage the valve cover gaskets, PCV, oil pan gaskets for sure.
There will be at least 1.5 liters of old oil in the pan. This isn't a oil change. This is only a fresh
Sludge? Yes, that's totally gonna get any debris on the bottom of the pan. That's one way to make sure people don't buy cars.
All of the debris is left at the bottom?
Hello, sludge, debris, where are you? The engine oil should preferably be extracted when changing the oil, as per Mercedes-Benz. I appreciate all of your guys' concerns. I mean, who am I? A mechanic?
The comments in this video were mostly positive. The comments in the last video, well, you saw, they were hysterical. Like, why would there be metal shavings at the bottom of the oil pan? An oil change is the least of your problems at that point. Let's read some of the comments. You are a mechanic, yes, but so is the other YouTuber named Humble Mechanic. He used an oil extractor different from yours, and there was still 100 milliliters of oil left in the pan. So which mechanic is wrong here? First of all, I like to stay positive. I would have probably worded it as which mechanic is right here. I digress. So Humble Mechanic, Charles, actually a really good friend of mine, when I posted this video, him and I actually discussed that exact situation. So he had a car, he sucked out the oil, and then he checked it afterwards. He had 100 milliliters, which comes out to 0.2 quarts, I think, not a lot. And so it really comes down to the type of vehicle. Mercedes, when you suck the oil out of a Mercedes, it gets almost all of it, as you could see in the video. His is a Volkswagen. He was using straws. There could have been a couple different methods. And maybe if he would have used a straw differently, maybe he could have got a little bit more. It doesn't really matter. The amount of oil that he had left in the engine may be okay for some people. Maybe someone would want all that oil out. It really just depends. But for Mercedes, as in the video, that is how Mercedes does it at the dealership, and I know that because I worked at the Mercedes dealership. I have another video that was way more popular than these, but it was stolen. Should I talk about that one? This video is obviously different than my normal long form video. If you guys liked it, let me know. If you didn't, that's okay too. Also let me know. Thanks. Have a good day.